Okay. Right, I'm live now. My connection timed out. There's something wrong with my internet connection today. So hopefully we'll get all the way through. So this is session 13, Maths with Sid. We're going to be looking at BIDMAS today. So what you're going to be needing for today's session is some felt tip pens. I can't live without felt tip pens. Some felt tip pens. We're going to need a small piece of coloured paper, something dark. So I've got a bit of blue here left over from the Big Bang session. So I've got that. We're going to need some white paper, and we're going to need a pencil as well. So I've got that over here. Okay, so this is going to be our session on BIDMAS. And for those of you who haven't heard of BIDMAS, it's often used at secondary level. So we're going to be learning some techniques that you can use and to help you understand. So a lot of the calculations we're going to be doing today are going to be pretty straightforward. But the concept is actually a secondary school maths concept. So we'll see how good you are at taking this on board. And you guys were great at understanding the Big Bang Theory, and that again was GCSE level, so I'm sure you'll be fine with this. Right, so I'm going to do what I normally do, which is share my my table with you, what I've got on my table. So let me just set that up. So if you are watching, give me a hi, guys. We've got Amina's watching. Amina's saying hi. Let's see who else we've got. We've got a few people watching, but you're not saying anything yet. So do say hi if you guys are watching. Okay. For some reason, I don't seem to be able to. Why isn't this connected? For some reason, everything seems to not be working today. So I can't seem to even be showing you my table at the moment. Okay, let's have a look. The downside of doing lives, it could go really wrong. All right, I've got it working. Okay, so here, the lighting's not that great though, guys. Is that better without? Nope, I think it's better with. Right, so we're going to be looking at BIDMAS today, and we're going to be looking at how we can use BIDMAS within maths calculations, okay? So the first thing that we want to do is to take a nice felt tip. I'm going to have a brown, and I'm going to write BIDMAS. So let's write that on our sheet. So remember, we're going to be submitting, well, you guys are going to be submitting these sheets over to me by email, by WhatsApp, by Messenger, and I can see what you guys have done. Right, so we're going to have a look at what each of these stands for. And we're going to learn the order in which we do operations in maths, okay? So B here stands for brackets. So I'm going to draw an arrow, and I'm going to write brackets. So anything inside brackets, we have to do first, okay? So if you've got a calculation which has brackets, you've got to do that first. So if you have 2 plus 2 times by 2, we've got to do this bit first. You do the brackets bit first, so you do 2 plus 2, that gives you 4, then you times by 2. So this is going to give me 4, then you times by 2. So my answer is going to be 8. Okay, so that's an examples of using brackets. Right, next one, we've got I and D, and M and A and S. So I here stands for indices. So this here is indices. What are indices? So if you're primary level, you might not have come across indices, but indices are numbers that you have in the corner. So like 2 to the power of 2, that there is an indice. 3 to the power of 4, that there is an indice. Okay, so these are indices. So you have to do indices first. So what does this actually mean? 2 to the power of 2 means, and I'm going to write this in pencil because I don't know whether I'll fit this in, I didn't leave enough space, is 2 times 2. This means 3, you times it by 4. Times it by itself by 4. I don't think you guys can see that on the camera. Let me do it in a pen. So we do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That's what that 3 to the power of 4 means. This means 2 times 2. Okay, so we've got indices, so these need to go next. So first you do brackets, then you got to do indices. Right, next, we've got D and M. What do you think D and M stands for? What do you think A and S stands for? If you're watching this live, guys, take part. Let me know what you think D stands for, M stands for, A stands for, and S stands for. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to kind of come up with that. Let me know if you know what these stand for. Now, while you are going to be getting back to me on that, I'm going to write some equations down here. And we're going to be, or calculations down here. We're going to be working through these in a second. Now, what I want you to do with your cardboard, your extra piece of cardboard, is we're going to create some brackets on here. Okay, so I want you to draw here some brackets. And I'm going to do another one over here. And we're going to cut these up. So let's cut these brackets up. And these are going to help us to use BIDMAS in action. So these are my brackets. Bit fiddly. Now I've got card here. You can do this with paper if you like. I've got one bracket, my second bracket. It looks a bit like a moon. Let's cut that up. So these are my two brackets. Okay, so I'm just going to start recording that because then I can save this later on. Let's close that. So here, what we've got here are two brackets that I'm going to be using. So no one's got back to me with D and M. D and M stand for division and multiplication. Okay, so next what we've got to do is the division or the multiplication. It doesn't matter which order these two happen in. So you can do division first or you can do multiplication first. But they're the third ones down here. So I'm going to number these in order. Let's get another colored felt tip pen. Okay, so brackets are number 1. We do that first. Number 2 is our indices. Number 3 is our division and our multiplication. And number 4 is our addition and subtraction. So let's do addition. So A stands for addition. S stands for subtraction. Right, guys, this is the exciting bit now. We're going to do some calculations and we're going to use BIDMAS. So I'm going to put this into a cloud. And you can use lots of different colors and make it look really exciting. Okay, so I've got a cloud of BIDMAS information there. Right, so I'm going to write down my first calculation. We're going to have here, we're going to have 3 plus 2 times 5 take away. Let's write 1 over here. Okay, so we've got a calculation over here. 3 plus 2 times by 5 minus 1. Now, if you haven't come across BIDMAS before, you will do 3 plus 2, which will give you 5. Then you'll do times by 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. Take away 1 is going to give you 24. Okay, that's what you would get if you don't use BIDMAS. Now, BIDMAS is telling us that we have to have brackets first. There's no brackets in here. We have to have indices first. There's no indices in here. We have to have division and multiplication third. Now, we've got multiplication. That has to happen before we do the addition and subtraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my brackets and I have to put them around my multiplication. Okay, so I got to do my multiplication first. So I've deliberately put the brackets in because it's going to force me to do number 3 first. Okay, because I put brackets in now, I've got to do the brackets first. So here what we're going to do now, this becomes, let me write this down. This becomes 3 plus brackets 2 times 5. So I can put brackets in to help me work out the calculations first. If I did it without anything, if I did it without BIDMAS, this answer was going to be 24. Okay, and that is not right. Now I'm going to do it with BIDMAS. So we do 3 plus 2 times 5. You've got to do that first. What's 2 times 5? 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, so I've done this bit first. Then I'm going to add everything else around it. So 3 plus, now it doesn't matter which order I do the plus or the take away. So do 3 plus 10, that's 13. minus 1 gives me 12. And this here is the right answer. So these brackets help us define what we're going to be doing. Right, I'm going to put another one over here. Let's see what you guys come up with. We're going to do 2 squared, take away 3 times by 2. Ooh. So we've got indices in this one. We've got a multiplication and we've got a takeaway. Well, the takeaway is going to be fourth. We're going to do that at the end, okay? The indices are second, so we've got to do that first, okay? Because there's no brackets in here. But because we've got multiplication, to help us remember to do that, we can put the brackets around 3 times 2, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to have 2 squared, and you've got a minus sign. You can't see the minus sign because it's underneath the brackets. So you've got 3 times 2. Okay, so you've got to do the brackets first, then we're going to do the indices, then we're going to do the takeaway. So let's do that. 3 times 2 is 6. We put the takeaway in, and we're going to put the indices in. 2 to the power of 2, what does that mean? That means 2 times 2. And we can put brackets in there as well to help us. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 6, we have now got negative numbers. Now, if you haven't done negative numbers, you might go slightly confused with this, but this is minus 2. Now, if we did it without the brackets, we would do 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. And you see, you've got 2 completely different answers. This one's wrong, this one's right. Okay, so this here is BIDMAS. You've got to do brackets first, indices, division multiplication is third, addition and subtraction is fourth. But we can create our own imaginary brackets to make it look really exciting, okay? So we can put our imaginary brackets, but you've got to put them in the right places. So always put them where you've got multiplication or where you've got division, okay? So what I'm going to do is make my page look nice and exciting. You can add some color, guys. Color it up a bit. Make it look really nice and exciting. Submit your calculations in. You might want to do more calculations. I've only done 2 over here. You might want to do 3 or 4 or 5. See if you can use BIDMAS. It's a bit like coding. It's like a code word for something special. You've got to do brackets first, indices, division and multiplication, then addition and subtraction. So I'm going to write here, hashtag Maths with Sid, and write your name on there, submit your entries by 6 p.m. and we'll see what you guys can come up with. Okay, so I'm going to be doing an online course on maths. We're going to be looking at calculations, we're going to be looking at algebra, we're going to look at fractions, and we're going to spend a week looking at each. So if you're interested in that, send me a message, but I'll join in tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be science. So Learn with Sid tomorrow will be on science. So we'll see what you guys come up with. Well, we'll see what you make for this one, and then we'll see what you do tomorrow as well. So we rotate around maths, science, and art. And if you've got any suggestions on what you want me to do, let me know. So BIDMAS is quite a difficult topic, but if you can do this and you can show me what you've done, then that's going to be brilliant. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for some science. I'll see you then. Bye. So let's see if I can pause this now. Bye, guys.